Run. morning, everybody. What up, everybody? Hope you're having a good Friday. I'm not going to go through the whole chat this morning. I see all of you in here. Good to see you. Hope you're all having a good morning. Yes, I'm partying. A little bit different music. Dancing a little bit in here. Yeah, if we can get 10 more likes, then we'll get this thing started. Flatwood, I see your message. My bot is probably deleting some stuff. Morning, Tom. Morning, Bree. Okie. Conway Harris. JP Traden. Vigo. Christopher. Just going through the normal people who are usually here. Mantis. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Yeah, we'll see who ends up being in here just for the giveaway. I mean, I generally want to get back, hopefully, to the people who are always here. That's who I want to get back to. I think Wolf, Wolf, I see your messages on Twitter. I mean, hopefully I'm able to get it. You know, hopefully you're able to win. But I mean, like I said, the chances of you winning the giveaways, like on a probability scale, it's pretty low. So, I mean, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. It's not like, but just overall, I mean, if there's 700 people in here, I mean, 4 out of 700, that's pretty damn low. All right, let's go ahead and get the video started. Today's NFP, right? And I actually have I had a paper trade on just to showcase, and I'm very happy it stopped me out at, well, break even, but I'm going to showcase that just so we can all learn from it. Again, I didn't take anything on my live account. For those probably believe I did, but on NFP, we do not trade. And it's for a particular reason. So let me know if you can see the chart here. So the giveaway is going to be if you're newer here and you're not, obviously you haven't been around. I'm going to do the giveaway at the end of the video. All you have to do is be registered with MyFundedFutures. So I'm going to be checking, and I'm going to give you all 5-10 minutes. You just have to create an account with them. You don't have to buy an account with MyFundedFutures, but you have to create an account with them. That way, if you end up winning, you give me your email, they can just plug in the account to your platform, and we don't have to go through hoops and wait for you to register. So if you want to participate and you want to win today, make sure you register with them. Do it right now while we're sitting here. It takes less than like 3 minutes. Follow me on YouTube and on Twitter. I will do the giveaway at the end of the live stream. We'll roll the dice. It'll be 4 accounts: 150K, 100K, 150K, and then we'll do an expert 50K account. So make sure that you're registered, everything's set, okay? Makes sense? I'm sure I'm going to continuously get questions about it. So if you are experienced here, you've been through it with me, make sure that you can at least give advice to the newer people. I don't know if my mod's here yet, but Justin, if you're here, make sure that these people are aware of what's going on if they keep asking. You would be surprised, my friend. I know on these days that the chat can get really low IQ. All right, so let's go out to the daily time frame. Yes, I'll cover the small paper trading. Yes, was it not inside the silver bullet? Yes, it's just me having fun. People take that's why I don't even try to demonstrate stuff, because people take it so seriously. I'm not trading today, so it's just to demonstrate and have fun with it. You could take paper trades and just have fun with it. It's not a big deal. Let's start out on the weekly time frame. I've been mentioning this all week. So ever since Tuesday, I've been mentioning higher prices. Daily logs and live streams. I've gone over every single day on how to understand narrative, how to understand bias, how to work within it. If you were inside of the daily log yesterday, it was a masterpiece, in my opinion. If you watched it and you're a real student, you actually are starting to learn how to utilize narrative. I mean, all the comments on there were very supportive. Tom, I appreciate you. But you can just tell that you can learn a lot in a small period of time, especially if the weekly profile like this week has been really nice in terms of understanding narrative and higher time frames and being within the bias. It's really, really clean. So As far as what we're doing today, we've been highlighting this weekly bullish order block, which we dug down into the mean threshold. So from there, that was on Tuesday, and we've been highlighting how Tuesday is typically the low of the week, right? And if you're in a bullish environment, you should be looking at Tuesday as the low of the week. So knowing that, anything after Tuesday, you're anticipating higher prices. You're not anticipating to be going short. You're staying within the narrative. You're staying within the framework of looking for longs. So going even into today, the only thing I would be looking at is to go long. And I'm not trading today, but if I was forced to do so, I would only be looking at higher prices. I know for people who keep watching the daily logs and keep watching me do this, it's a broken record, but it's good for you. Inside of this dealing range, we've dropped down into a discount and inside the reclaimed inefficiency here. So Tuesday here was setting the low of the week. You go to ICT's weekly templates, they're not always 100%, but if you're anticipating higher prices that week, you should anticipate that Tuesday or Wednesday should set the low of the week in a bullish environment, and it should set it inside of a higher time frame PD array or inefficiency. So this was happening inside of the weekly bullish order block and inside of the daily reclaimed inefficiency here, resting inside of what? A discount. So knowing that, Wednesday we took our long, Thursday we expanded higher. All the targets I annotated yesterday live on stream were traded right up into, and even today we're looking for the high here. Why is that? Because the narrative is bullish. There's nothing that would tell me to go short. So then you combine dollar index, which is dropping off lower. You combine SMT, combine intermarket relationships. All of this is pointing to higher prices. This is how you would get a good recipe for narrative. And you go into lower time frames and you wait for the model to plug in at the correct time and you enter into the trade. It's not, when times like this, it's not rocket science. It's actually extremely easy. At least to me, I find trading extremely easy. And yes, I know people are going to bitch and complain, oh, it's NFP, why are you not trading? It's NFP. You have certain rules and things that you set out for yourself. I've talked about this yesterday. It's a broken record. You can't pick and choose when they're going to work and when they're not going to work and when they're in your favor versus not. You just have to stick with your rules, and sometimes they work out for you, sometimes they don't. But as long as you stay consistent with it, that's the whole main point of it. So yesterday I got comments too, like, why did we sit out yesterday? It was super clean. Because that's what our rule set says. Sometimes that happens. It is what it is. You can't pick and choose when that's going to work or not work. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, yesterday at the PM session, we actually had a decent drop lower, a decent retracement back into this inefficiency here. And then we expanded higher. So we had NFP today, which is a news event driver, which is 1 hour before the open. So that was about an hour ago that this played out. So if you're newer here, the NFP protocol, which NFP happens the first of the month every Friday. Not typically, at least for ICT, and what he stated and advises us all to do is not to trade Monday through Thursday, the AM session, and don't trade basically the Wednesday PM session all the way through Friday on a NFP week. So that's what we've done here. That's what I've demonstrated for all of you. Wednesday was more than enough. You don't need to go in here and get more and try to risk more capital and try to get more than you need. I'm content with what we already have. Somebody asked on my video last night, which I appreciate your response, whoever responded to the comment. They were asking, which I've talked about this before, but why did price leave the relative equal lows? Why would I not be looking at that? Well, there's SMT at the lows. So I mentioned that before, where Dow was making a lower low, ES and Q failed to make the lower low. So that's a bullish SMT. B, this low is happening inside of the weekly bullish order block and inside the daily reclaimed inefficiency. So if the order flow is bullish, if the parent order flow is bullish, it doesn't need to run for the sell side, especially when you couple in SMT and you couple in dollar index, which is dropping off lower. It doesn't need to run for the sell side in here. It engineered it for a later point in time. So you need to understand when price is going to leave liquidity, when it's not, going to run for it, and when it's just going to move away from it. So there's certain factors and criterias and characteristics that you can look for to help you, guide that certain idea. As far as today, let's look at what happened. We have buy side liquidity, which is resting here. So that's the high of last week, or actually this week. We have a new week opening gap and a new day opening gap. So this is the current new week opening gap. This is today's opening of the daily candle, new day opening gap. So I'm going to showcase where I took a paper trade this morning before the live, just for fun, again, just demonstrational purposes. And you're able to see that sometimes with NFP, that it's just the precision's not there. That it's just not willing to run. It's not willing to do something that normally in a normal condition it would do so. So hopefully the new week opening gaps pops up on here. If you're just tuning in, I appreciate it if you'd like the video, if you can share it. Again, we're giving away 4 accounts today, so it's a pretty significant day today, to be honest with you. I'm sure some of you want to keep this video. You don't want people to be coming in here, but we got to get it out there. All right, so as far as, I'm not concerned with price today. It's more or less going to be teaching, Q&As, whatever you guys want to go over. I'm willing to do so. I mean, I'll do some tape reading today and see where price really wants to go to. Overall, I would still be looking at the buy side liquidity here, which is 18,628. Why? The narrative is bullish. But today, when this was before the stream, I was just having fun. I can see with NFP, what did we do? We dropped off lower, taking out sell side liquidity, displacing higher. We dropped back down into, this is the current new week opening gap here. So if you go out to like a 5-minute, you can see the wicks, we're respecting it. And the 1 minute, the body's dropped beneath it. I'm just looking at this question to use it as how to create a narrative. I just went over it. So if I'm not trying to be rude, go back to the video and rewatch what I just stated. That me going over higher time frames, going over everything I just went over, is the recipe to a narrative. Yesterday's daily log, last night's daily log is the exact recipe on how to create a narrative for yourself. And I think people, they misinterpret what narrative means. They overcomplicate it. It's not a mysterious enigma type of thing. It's just utilizing higher time frames, utilizing intermarket relationships, SMT. There's a few things that all combined into it, but when you want to, dribble it down to the basics, it's just higher time frames, and where is that leading to? But as far as this, I can see that price dropped down into a discount. So from that low up to that high, it may have not even gotten into a discount, maybe incorrect on that, but there's no inefficiencies beneath price, so it wouldn't need to drop beneath that. So price is coming into here, small volume balance in here, so price gravitated higher. I had 2 sell limits up here, and I wanted to see if it could tag the buy side, and this is what happens with NFP, is it missed the limit here. I also had one above it, and it came back and stopped me on a break even. Again, it's a paper trading. It's just for demonstrational purposes. Like, if you just want to practice and have fun, especially on a day where you're not trading, and you get to see, like, all right, this is what would have happened. This is what, price is like, how to feel it out on a day like today. I mean, paper trading is an excellent way to do so. Even if you have an itch to trade, you're like, man, I need to press the button. I need to do something. Just go fire a bunch of trades on paper trading. Like, that will satisfy my itch sometimes if I'm just sitting here like, man, like, I want to do something. Well, just click the button 200 different times and just see what happens. Like, even though it's paper trading, it's not real money. At least it can do something, right? Like, that's the way I view it. Where's the banana? I have a banana next to me. I need to trade today for my funded account goal, so I will choose PM. You need to trade today? Why do you need to trade? See, like, that's the whole point with funded accounts, and the where they get you is, like, you need to trade because you either need to start paying a monthly payment. I mean, when they used to have days where you're limited, I mean, you'd be forced to trade in days like this. I mean, you'd have to. And it created such bad habits. I mean, it was nearly impossible with those 30-day, challenge accounts. Because, I mean, you would have to be forced to trade inside of this. And it's not something you should be doing. That's not what a profitable trader does. I need to put on music for myself here. Let's see. As far as the giveaway, it'll be at the end of the live stream. You have to be registered with MyFundedFutures, be following me on Twitter, and be following me on YouTube. So I'm just going to be tape reading. I'm not doing anything, but let's just tape read the opening range here and what we're doing. Mark out a few areas and inefficiencies. So the fact that we closed beneath this BISI in here, that could become an inversion. And the precision in my forecasting is probably going to be way off. I mean, I'm just letting you all know. It's typical with NFP. But if we drop lower, where would be the next level that we could look for? Well, I'd be aiming for 50% of the wick to happen at the opening. If price dropped lower, right? You're just looking at discount arrays. So you'd be looking at the new day opening gap, and you'd look at the CE of this wick in here. You wouldn't immediately go for the low. You go for the CE of the wick. Mate, could you explain TGIF? Yeah, so, and that's another point with this week is we're on a Friday. We expanded higher. TGIF, you're typically retracing back into the weekly range by 20 to 30%. So it can be a little bit iffy. You have to be, TGIF is not a set in stone like every single week this happens. You have to be able to decipher and gauge for yourself. Would I expect that today? I mean, it might be a later thing, like a PM type of session thing. I just still think that there's room to go higher because the order flow is bullish, narrative is bullish. I don't think it's just going to retrace from here. There's relative equal highs, so buy side has been engineered. I think coming into the silver bullet, we'll probably run for that, to be honest with you. But if you look at the weekly candlestick, it's currently, right, there may be a new high that's set today throughout the day. But if you want to know what TJF is, you're looking at the weekly candle. Let's say you believe the high of the week is already in. So that high there is the high of the week. You're coming into a New York session on Friday. You plot 20 and 30% levels. And you're expecting the weekly candle to retrace into 20 to 30% of the weekly range. And why is that? Because you're looking at the concept of power of three. Open, high, low, close. So it's not an end-all be-all. It doesn't happen every single week. You have to pair it with whatever is happening in order flow and what price has been doing that week and what's doing that day. But it is a good concept, especially if you've been expanding heavily, like on one side the whole week, then you'll probably anticipate that retracement. It's a situational concept. You have to be able to utilize it when it's there and decipher when it's not there. Yes, should be closed above a daily FEG to make it a high FEG. Yeah. Lewis, just stay here, man. Just register with MyFundedFutures, and then you're probably following me on both platforms already, so it's good. Non-professionals also probably. I mean, majority are non-professional. Wait, Cody, what? No way. I don't even keep up with. I mean, I love fighting. Francis and Joshua's fighting. I mean, I got Francis all day. Boxing industry is trash now, unfortunately. So the 15-minute, if you look at the 1 minute, you see that it closed beneath this inefficiency. But if you look at the 5-minute, this is the parent. So even though the 1 minute closed beneath, this will happen in regular days as well. And this is where people get, caught going short or long, is sometimes the 1 minute will close beneath its inefficiency, but if you look at the 15-minute, the 5-minute, that's the parent. So you have to be paying attention to these. There's nothing on the 5-minute, but if you look at the 15-minute, it's still there. So you can't immediately disregard that and say, all right, well, now we're short because we closed underneath a 1 minute BISI. So you need to be looking at parent time frames and order flow and seeing which one, is truly the one that's supporting price. Yeah, I saw that Jake Paul's fighting Tyson. It's pretty crazy. I bet that's just going to be a more or less a stunt. I don't think that he's actually going to be boxing him. I mean, Tyson's old, man. You know what I meant to do, because I'm going to get this question a lot today. Let me do this. I mean, if you don't have like a Twitter, I mean, I'm not going to hound you for it. But I mean, if you have a Twitter, I mean, you probably already subscribed. Where do I want to put this? So that's what's going to irritate me. I'm going to just move it with price. What's the Lucky Charm layout? I've just labeled it that. It's nothing really serious. Just looking at the 5-minute order flow in here, you have the current new week opening gap and a bearish order block here. So hopefully this is a good demonstration why you shouldn't be trading NFP. Like, look at the delivery of price. It's pretty damn sloppy. Like, to be profitable inside of this would be difficult. And I could see both sides. I'd be, as a newer student, you'd be trying to do anything in here. And that's why you stay out of it. That's why you don't try to push inside of an environment like this. Yeah, RTH gap. Thank you. So we drop down into the RTH gap here. Just the entirety of that. I'm not going to put it on. It's a little bit much right now. But RTH gap is there as well. So again, I'm looking at, even though the 1 minute closed beneath that inefficiency, I'm looking at the 50 minute. That would be the parent. So until we collapse underneath this, I wouldn't be, confident in looking for lower prices. Again, anything I say today, please don't take that as advice. Please, if I'm saying something, don't be like, oh, well, that means, hint, hint, I should be going long. No, it means nothing today. I'm just simply tape reading and having fun today. There's no reason to be sitting here trying to decipher what I'm talking about. I said, gun in my head, if you really want a signal, you want something that I'm looking for higher prices, but it means nothing. Yeah, so ES is spiking up higher. So you would want to see NQ follow suit with it, right? So NQ may be lagging behind ES, and it would want to get into sync with it. I mean, Dow's moving higher as well. And then this is another chart I have up. But dollar index, what we've been forecasting, if you've been here and you didn't watch the daily logs, we were calling for lower prices in dollar index into the relative equal lows. Volume balance here, and I think the next draw for dollar index is the relative equal lows down here. And I think ultimately we finally are getting a clean, decisive narrative on dollar index. I've been mentioning this over and over again. If dollar index starts to open up and starts to spread its wings, it's going to make things very, very easy for us in index futures. It's been very consolidated over this whole year, and finally this is probably the biggest week so far. So really good, and the reason for that, look at the new monthly open, moved away from the inefficiency in here. If we can get out of this range on dollar index that we've been in for basically a year, oh man, it's going to be great. It's going to be, to me, it's going to be fun. Do I use the Reaper or seem to be respecting the 15-minute Reaper? There's no Reaper, man. I don't even like that term. I think people don't even really know what a Reaper is. So again, why would we be looking at higher prices? Because of the narrative, everything that's been in play this whole week, we want to look for higher prices. So this is where, if you constantly keep switching within a session, like if you're not sticking with the narrative, you're going to get your ass handed to you. That's the reason why I teach like this, because you're keeping yourself from taking stupid trades, and you're staying on par with the narrative, which is higher prices. So any shorts in here, you're not electing to take it. Any fake moves to the downside, you're not being tripped up by it, and you just stick with the higher prices until you're completely proven wrong. Until everything inside of that would tell you, all right, this is invalid, then obviously you have to disregard it and change it. But nothing's changed in here to stop looking for higher prices. What's this little pattern here? You have a low, a high, a lower low, then a higher high. So this up close candle would be your bullish breaker. And then inefficiency here. So from this point, that should really hold in terms of looking for higher prices. And I should send that into the buy side here at 18,629. So I'm going to change the color just because it's too much blue. This is how you join the giveaway. I got to remember to keep putting that on screen. Again, don't take this as a trade idea. I'm sure some of you have already taken trades or whatever, but breaker block is from body to wick. For the most part, if I'm looking at a breaker, I'm taking this open all the way up to the high of the wick. It can be the body, but it can also be the top of the wick there as well. So, I mean, in the actual definitions, it's this entirety, but when I'm looking to enter off of a breaker, I want a fair value gap that's inside of it. That's called a unicorn, yes. But particularly I'm highlighting, even on order blocks, that open all the way up to the wick there. So if you were to look at, I'm going to try to find like a reverse of that. I mean, even like this, let's say this is it's a bad example. If I find one, I'll show it. I got to put that in there as well. What do you suggest if a lot of the future firms don't accept my country? It's a good question. Trade your own capital, probably. Or I mean, there's plenty of prop firms out there. I mean, regardless if it's futures or not. Like if you have to trade CFDs, if you have to trade that, I mean, so be it. Why not stream PM session? I don't trade PM session. Sarawana, it's in my bio. Where's your stop loss? Times it makes me not want to stream when I get comments like that. It's simply tape reading, my friend. That's all we're doing today. If I was taking a trade, I'd show you me taking a trade, and I'd show you where my stop loss is. Yeah, I know, Tom. Will, you know you're my top chatter, right? I looked at my my night bot and I said you're my top chatter, which is funny. And this is what ICT was doing last year. I mean, he didn't put a position on, but he'd be like, all right, like, you know, we should respect this. This should go from here to there. And it's tape reading. Like, somebody asked me yesterday, how do you tape read? I mean, that's what I'm doing here. You're marking up annotations, you're finding a draw on liquidity, and you're just observing how price reacts to it. But there's no emotions behind it. Like, me putting on a position, even if it's paper trading, you're still putting some type of, like, if you're newer, you're still trying to put some type of ego and pride behind it. Not always, but for a newer student, like if you win a paper trading or not, that can, you know, boost your confidence or not boost your confidence. For me, obviously, it doesn't do anything, but that's why for newer people, you should just be not even paper trading, just tape reading and observing price, seeing how it moves, and just journaling that. CJ, you Bears fan? I guess I don't watch football. I don't watch any sports. I don't do any of that. So there's the buy side delivered. And you can see, I mean, this is even before the silver bullet, but what time did this start happening? Why would this be a favorable time? This is inside of the macro from, did my time change? Let's say 10. Well, this is my, wait, no, I'm tripping, I'm sorry. 950 to 1010. So that macro there, it's when it started the actual move. I'm not saying you should take any of this. You shouldn't feel any type of way about it, but it's just observing price. That's all you're doing. You should be happy that these concepts work and the things that you're learning work. That's a whole main point of it. It's just practicing the idea, practicing the concepts. And if you feel any type of way about it, like, man, I should have traded that, and then you're not experienced enough to understand that there's going to be times when you just have rule sets you shouldn't be trading. I don't feel any type of emotions about it. When the new contract, I'm not, like, for me, yes, I'll be on my live account, I'd be trading the June contract. But as far as what I analyze on and I use the continuous contract. I really want to delete that. It keeps getting in my way. But yeah, so after this is reached into, now you have to go, all right, well, my drawn liquidity is reached into. Now you have to see, all right, well, how far does price want to reach into? So we're at all-time highs again. You have to keep that in mind. Now we're moving into all-time highs. So I don't have a drawn liquidity to reach into. I don't know where else price is going to go. So at this point in time, I find it a little bit less favorable. Even last week you saw that. I don't know where price is going to go. No, you can't trade the continuous contract. But I use it to analyze. I've never had an issue with it. But from here, I mean, the only thing you could utilize is standard deviations. And even then, I mean, those are not entirely correct. What did we talk about earlier with this 15-minute inefficiency being the parent? It's a reason why you need to pay attention to multiple time frame analysis and not stuck on the 1 minute. Because on the 1 minute, you close beneath this one, and somebody could have been like, oh, that's an inversion, I'm going to sell. Well, that's the 15-minute, and that's the actual parent. What did it do from this low up to that high? It dropped down into a discount. So there's equilibrium there. Wicks do the damage, body tell the story. Look here, and the price lifts off. take out sell side, get above new week opening gap, create the breaker for a value gap here, launch pad into buy side liquidity. Inside of what? The macro. I'm out easy 1K. I'm sure there's people that took the trade idea, so it's just whatever. Huck, no. I mean, the only time, excuse me, I would take a trade before the silver bullet is inside of the macro, which is 10 minutes before it. Check the March contract, never closed beneath 1 minute. That's interesting. Flatwood. Jack, yeah. Back to kind of the point I was getting at is since we got above terminus, right? As soon as you reach terminus, especially whether it's intraday session drawn liquidity or whether it's overall drawn liquidity. So what I mean by that is if on a higher time frame, on a daily, weekly, you've reached a terminus, you've reached a drawn liquidity. Usually that means to go flat, meaning neutral. I don't have a bias or a position because it's done everything I've wanted it to do. And this was forecast days before. So this was basically the last piece of it that I wanted to see price trade up into. And once that's reached into, that's just, all right, well, now I really need to wait for more information. That doesn't mean, oh, I got to keep pushing price. No, that means I need to sit still. Wait for price and time to do the work for me because I don't know from here. I don't know. I have no idea. We're at all-time highs. We reached the drawn liquidity, my terminus for the week. So this is where you just kind of have to stand still and be like, all right, probably have to wait till next week. And just because we've taken buy side does not mean, no, it does not mean that you're just going to automatically run for sell side. That doesn't mean that. I'm not taking a trade today, so I don't care to see anything. I feel like I got to put on like 100 different text boxes. Like, where would you put the stop loss? I mean, hypothetically, if you were to take that trade, you'd go beneath at least the breaker, at least underneath that open there. Sorry, it's banana time. Dexter. Dark, that's hilarious. How to gain the confidence to hold trades. It's been hard to hold after experience the markets. Yeah, I mean, that's due to the emotion of being attached to unrealized profits. So you have to understand why you're attached to unrealized profits. You believe that those profits that are on the screen are yours. I mean, I struggled with that for a while. You need to simply put, for me, is I have it on my computer here. I have note cards. I said that money is not yours. So if I'm going to trade, I start feeling that emotion is that money's not mine. Even if it goes into my bank account or even goes into my trading account when I close the position, that's still not my money until I withdraw that money and it goes into my bank account. And then I'm able to utilize that money in a real life, reality, physical object. That money's not mine. It's just pixels on a screen moving up and down. Like, and if you have a problem with that, turn off the profit indicator. Turn it to ticks, turn it to whatever points. That way you're not looking at profit. And overall, you should just be paying attention to your plan. Like, the money has no influence over it. The market doesn't know how much money you're making or losing. It's simply following what it's coded to do. And if you're executing your plan, See if the market is following your plan. It's never about the money if you're up or down. It's always about, is it executing to my plan? If we have two apparent time frames for about 5 minutes, should we wait? That's a hard question to answer. That's a situational thing. Jack, right here, my friend. Read. I have to make it bigger. Mantos, yeah. CJ, for higher time frame analysis, does it matter if YM's market structure is completely out of sync? No, most of the time most of the time YM is always decoupled or doing something different, but it's not completely out of sync with it. I mean, it's not completely in sync with it, but for the most part, that's how YM is. For the most part, you should just be analyzing ES and NQ together. When are you starting giveaway? I mean, even if I put it in the chat box as a pinned message, I still don't. I think these. I already knew this, and it's no disrespect. I really don't mean this, but I just see when the last time I did this giveaway, the level of questions. It's insane to me how people even operate in life. Do you bear in mind the weekly profile ICT explained? Yeah, Jose. I mean, we talked about how this week was Tuesday, classic bullish template for the low of the week. If Ahmad was here, I don't know where the hell he's at. So as far as TJF, I mean, the overall narrative and everything is bullish. So it would be hard for me to want to counter that entire idea. You saw that last week as well. I mean, you can't just counter the narrative even just because it's TJF. You can't do that. I mean, if it wants to seek higher prices, it's going to do that. Like last week, we closed out a lot higher, and I'm sure a lot of people were trying to push that TGIF template on it. You can't do that. It's just sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. You have to understand the profile for the week. I mean, we continuously keep every week, which is fascinating, keep reaching into all-time highs on a Friday. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just continuously gravitate higher and grind higher the rest of the day. So I wouldn't be trying to counter this by any means. And at this point, I wouldn't be doing anything. Like if I was forced to trade in this, I wouldn't do anything. Because we've reached above all-time highs. So I don't know how far it's going to reach into. I don't know if it's going to reverse, and I don't want to do either. I don't want to try to call a top, and I don't want to try to keep longing it. So you just have to stay neutral. And if you're upset with that, and I mean, it's just a lack of discipline and patience. There's going to be a trade next week. The whole week's going to be open. You don't have to just place your whole career on today in this session. A little interesting study. Look at yesterday's wick in here. We didn't quite reach down into it, but wicks will act as gaps. So you want to, the 50% and 25% are sensitive levels. So 50%, we almost reached into that. We expanded higher. This is what? That's a rejection block. So if you look at the open here, or the close, I'm sorry, that's a rejection block. Overdose on coffee and since passes. Jose, not necessarily. The TJF can happen within the AM session of Friday. It can happen also in the PM. My Twitter's in the bio of this video. Oki, because you gotta click, if you do NQ, just click N. Don't put the exclamation mark. Do NQ. Drop the folder down. Then you're gonna see March. You're gonna see June. You don't like if I did this. That's the I'm sorry. One exclamation. That's continuous. Just one contract rolling over to another. Don't overcomplicate it. Like, you don't need to know. Just know when one contract ends, you switch over to the other one. So, I mean, from here, like I said, what could you analyze? There's really nothing I can analyze. Like, I don't know. This thing could reach off all the way up into 18,750. It could reach into anywhere. So it's just one of those moments where you just have to sit still. This is where trading is boring. It's not fun. It's not glamorous, and all the profits and the people having fun. This is where it becomes boring, and you have to be patient. And even right now, like, I would just be logging off the charts and doing something else with my life. There's nothing else I would. If I wasn't live streaming today, I wouldn't be on here. I wouldn't be trading NFP. I wouldn't care what price did. I would have no emotions towards it. Like, you'll reach a point if you become consistent enough. You don't need to sit here and tape read price. Like, I don't need to do this. It's not something that's needed for me. I know how price works. I know, so I don't. But as a newer student, it is important because you get a lot of practice and reps in, and you start to feel how a real market moves. Because in backtesting, everything's differently. Yes, there is to the contracts, like, there is rollover points, and there's some volume left in another contract. But for the most part, I analyze on the continuous contract. I've never had an issue with it. And when the rollover happens, like next week, I'll be trading June. Can you use standard deviation multiples to measure potential move? Yeah. I mean, as far as standard deviations, where would you put that in this swing? I mean, breakers are the easiest way to utilize probably a legitimate standard deviation, because that's the actual kind of correction. So from this dealing range low, you're going to drag it to that high. So if you ever see a pattern with a breaker where you have a low, high, lower low, then a higher high, you're looking at this inverse swing, and you're dragging. So -1's here, -1.5, -2. But I don't know. That it's just a projection, a prediction. The only way I use standard deviations if it's lining up with the drawn liquidity already. Otherwise, it's not really useful to me. I find the drawn liquidity and inefficiencies that's where price is drawing to. It's not drawing to my standard deviation. Simo, I appreciate that. Good to see you in here. I know there's a lot of people who are silent, but that's all right. How do you trade in summer, CJ? Or it's not good. It could be hit or miss. Again, all the rules that we've been given, you always have to take it not with a grain of salt, but you have to match it with what's going on. I mean, TJF, for example, it's not going to play out every single Friday. You have to know when to utilize it. Multiple fair value gaps, breakers. I mean, you just have to know when to utilize that concept. I mean, summer months can be summer doldrum where it's a little bit slower, but then again, there's some summers where it's huge ranges. So you have to be able to decipher that and figure it out for yourself. Why don't you use ICT-OT? I do use it. It's on my fib. As far as like projections, I don't utilize that. Benz, appreciate it. Is DXY? Yes. I don't see in this moment. Well, just look at the daily time frame. Look at what dollar index has done the last 2 days. 3 days. This has dropped off lower. Look at where ES, YM, NQ, they're all moving higher. So it's an inverse correlation. My win rate is 100%. I never lose. MP? Yeah, that's fine. How to overcome FOMO. I mean, it's a wide variety and a wide topic. Overall, you need probably a lot more experience and time with the concepts and with trading. What is your favorite PD rate to enter off of the fair value gap? What convinces you to enter and anticipate a rejection from it? Narrative, bias, intermarket relationships, SMT. Hey, mate, how many accounts did you blow during your early learning phases? Be honest, okay? Dude, I've probably blown 50, 80, 100. I don't even remember. I've blown a lot. I've blown more probably than most people. Are you trading your account? Yes. How many micros? 5 to 8. I'm starting to move up where I have a decent buffer on my account, so I'm gonna start dropping minis here. CJ, your live trades will make me more understand and more. That's good. All right. I wish there's something to talk about in price rather than looking at the chat, to be honest with you. I mean, I've taught so much, man. It's like if you've been in here, I've this whole week. I mean, I just talked about it last night in the daily log. Even the daily logs, man. Like I've done a full blown mentorship for free. Like I hope everybody actually realizes that, dude. Like, I mean, if you're not experienced enough, you don't have the like. I've talked about it yesterday. The people who are learning the most are people who came in here who are intermediate, slightly advanced, still struggling with some things. And if you came to me, you probably excelled your learning tenfold. I mean, if you're newer, it's probably not going to help you that much, unfortunately. I could teach in a very simplistic beginner mindset, but it's not going to do much for you. Until you get on to your own little ways, then I can really, really help. Yeah, crazy. I mean, even listening to somebody with more experience, lending experience through FOMO and patience, so you can kind of weed out that emotion. Accidental, what up? Good to see you. I don't think you were here yesterday. CJ, I want to pay you $10,000 to trade for me or teach me how to trade to win. Well, I'll tell you, I wouldn't win the Robins. I probably wouldn't even be anywhere near the top of it. Like, you don't need to be this excellent trader, this person who's winning Robins to be successful. You do 2% a month and outpace inflation. You can outpace every single job you've ever had. Said, thank you. Jabbers, yeah, it's very good. Got a little back pain. Sorry to hear that, accident. um, yeah, I just don't know what else to really talk about in terms of the chart. I mean, this is what it is. I mean, it's boring. Like when you reach terminus and you reach that point of I don't know where else price is going to go. I can't just force price into my, you know, into my will. You just have to wait for more information. It's boring. It's not fun. Like times like this is where if I was alone, either I'd be just scrolling Twitter, or I'd be. I mean, I would be obviously up the charts, but I'm just saying in a different situation. If price is boring and I don't know enough information, then I would either just be doing something else while I'm looking at the chart, seeing if something can pan out, drawing, whatever it is. What up, Jack? How come specifically you like to trade the silver bullet, CJ? If you saw a high probability setup play out ahead of that, what makes you not take it beyond your rule set? That's it. That's my rule set. You have to understand that people get upset with their own rule sets. Like when yesterday even per se. Like you get upset when your rule set keeps you out of a trade and you're pissed off. You're like, man, why the hell is this rule set even here? But then you don't even congratulate it when it helps you. There's always a double-edged sword to your rules and the discipline that you have. You have to elect to do something. Otherwise, you're just doing whatever all the time. You're never going to build consistency. I mean, it's a broken record. You can't pick and choose when you follow rules when they work and, you know, follow them when they don't work. Like, you need to be able to just stay consistent with the rules. Sometimes you're going to be within a rule set. You know, like today, if a beautiful trade panned out in the PM session, I wouldn't care because it's not part of my rule set to trade it. So there's always, you can't trade everything all at once, always be perfect. Like it's an illusion. It is what it is, man. Like you have to take the good with the bad and just move on. Like it's an illusion for a newer student to believe that's possible. It's not. And you can't get upset about that. Like it's the way it is. It's a harsh reality of trading. The good part is if you stay consistent with your rules, it's going to pay you out. So I don't care. Like when you follow your rules and you see it works for you and you do everything you're supposed to do, regardless if you missed a bunch of trades that you know your rule set kept you out of, well, you're still making money. You're still doing the right thing. So who really gives a shit? Um, what's your Twitter username? It's linked in my bio. Robbie, I'd love to hear that. Jabbers, exactly. I mean, people want they want a model for every single day, every single session. They want to trade in every. It's not realistic. Most people they know that. Like somebody tells them like you can't trade every single day, but then they go out and they trade every single day. It's like most of you that say that in the chat to me. It's like I used to trade every single day. How often have you heard that from Twitter, from YouTube? People tell you not to trade every single day, but yet you still do it. Either A, you fell into that idea that you know some of these people tell you you can trade every day, which you can't. I'm telling you that right now. Yes, you do. You have to be in the live stream because you have to be able to send a message, and that's the way I'll pick the winner. Business contract, I have no idea. IC said he wants to see us succeed, but also hiding things from us. No, no, he's not. Again, I think that's a very poor mindset to have. Like, he's given us more than enough, way more, for free. Most of you for free. I paid for this, but I mean, when people say that, that means that again, you're just falling into the idea you haven't mastered yourself. I could be more successful probably than 90% of the industry with support and resistance. I could take all these concepts away and trade trend lines and support and resistance and probably still be more successful than than a person that knows everything about these concepts, because I know myself better than most people. And it's not me bragging. It's just you want to get to that level of self-discipline, consistency within yourself, rules, like being able to manage risk, be able to manage drawdown. Those type of things are way more important than any entry pattern, any concept you could know. People would probably be way better off probably just knowing support and resistance and just having a simple, all right, if it touches this line, I buy with this, set in stone risk to reward, and that's it. To be honest with you, I mean, how much did I pay for the lessons? In total over the years, like 2,000. Tom, what's up? Good to see you. Andreas, if you just look at simply I don't know this month, but it's terms of like, it may be cheaper, but then again, you get charged the activation fee. Sometimes with MyFundedFutures, you don't. The starter account has a little bit lower profit target overall. Again, I still think they're both great platforms. I trade with MyFundedFutures. I support them. They've been great to me. They're fantastic. Probably them and Top Step are to me the best in the industry right now. So. When you're in the private mentorship, yeah, it was all Forex. And no, he didn't trade the 1 minute. Like, I really started to dive into the 1 minute probably about, I'd say 2 years ago. But even last year during his live streams, like, I started to really understand, like, just through tape reading. He never even really took, I remember on the live streams, he took maybe 1 or 2 trades, but I mean, as far as just learning how he marks things up, what he's looking at, even on Twitter when he's telling you, all right, look at this fair value gap at 827, extend it to your right, do this, do that, do this. I mean, I went through all those drills, like everything that he was doing on Twitter. I would put it on my chart, I'd mark it up, I'd look at it, I'd see what he was looking at. But everybody didn't want to do that because they thought it was stupid. And they thought he was like, you know, saying a bunch of stuff, but it was really to help you read price and to train your eyes. Business, I believe that. I mean, I don't use TradingView. I don't use Tradeovate. In hindsight, I mean, I probably would have just for the stream's sake, because obviously I get a lot of comments that I'm paper trading when I'm not. But I mean, Quant Tower is great. Ninja Trader is great. I mean, if you could trade on TradingView, that's also fine too. There's a lot of good platforms for futures. I'll go trading. I mean, I disagree with that statement as well. But even if so, I mean, again, he did it for free. Like, I don't mean to be rude. You hear all the time, but that's an entitled mindset. Like, you got that all for free. Like, just be grateful that you even got any of the information for free, regardless if he hid something from you. How much buffer do you need to scale 100K? I mean, that depends on what. Are you talking about futures? Are you talking about foreign exchange? I don't know. I use Quantar. You can use. There's another one like Replicano. Replicano. Yeah, I think trying to learn everything ICT taught is Trying to learn everything ICT's taught and try to plug it all into one, it doesn't work. That's like throwing all your paint colors into one little canvas. It doesn't work. You need to be able to just draw little things at a time. And it's just an analogy. What I mean by that is just pick one session, pick one asset class, pick one fair value gap, order block, whatever meets your eye. One multiplier is what I'm getting at. And one model, and plug it in. And get consistent at that. Once you get consistent at that, then you can venture off and do other things. But even for me, I don't trade anything else. I don't trade breakers. I don't trade order blocks. I don't trade mitigation blocks. If I have a fair value gap like this, where it's inside the breaker, yes. But if there's no fair value gap that was inside of us, I would not have traded it. Again, we go back to discipline. That's drawing the line in the sand. You have to draw the line in the sand somewhere. And you have to say, all right, well, I'm just not going to do that. Even if I knew price was going to the buy side liquidity, there was no fair value gap and it tipped into the breaker. I know what a breaker is. I know exactly what it's supposed to do. It's part of my rule set. I have to follow it. It's very, very important. These type of things I'm talking about are what makes you successful. Otherwise, you trade everything, you do everything at once. There's no consistency within you. Talking about index futures, I mean, for me, I have a trailing drawdown of 3K. So once I get above 3K, and I'm at 3,500 right now. Once I get to 4K, 5K, then I'm gonna start bumping up into minis, and I can really start kind of spreading the wings on the account to where I can get to 7, 8, 10K in profit, then keep doing it more. You don't need 100 different funded futures accounts. If you build a buffer on it, and then you increase your leverage with proper information, like as soon as you get into 4K profit, 5K profit, start upping your leverage. And by then, if I can get into 10K profit, I mean, I could get to 20 or 30K pretty damn easy. If I trade unicorn setups, I mean, yeah. Franco, yeah. Again, I draw the line in the sand. You have to draw it somewhere. Like, you can't just follow rules some day, not follow them the other day, just blowing in the wind, just doing, yeah, well, maybe just today, this little exception. I have this little exception. I'll just a little bit here. Nope, you can't do that. No. I can't stress it enough. You can't just follow rules some days, not do it. Like, that's a problem with the majority of traders. Like, they follow the rules some days they do, some days they don't. Just doesn't work that way. What have you seen me all do the last 2.5 months? I follow my rules very strictly. I don't ever deviate from it. And guess what? I'm profitable doing it. So if you're wondering, like, after all these moves that you see me miss quotation or things I sit out of, I'm still profitable. So I'm trying to give you an example and somebody to look at and be like, you know what? Even CJ, he sits out of all these moves. He's very patient, but yet I'm still profitable. I'm outpacing 90% of the industry right now, and I'm doing less than 90% of people are doing. It's not bragging. I'm just using it as an example. Did you take a position? No, I did not. Naeem, I believe next week is my last week on here. I've decided that. I actually want to make an announcement today. For those who are in here, I really do appreciate everybody. But next week's going to be my last week. That's it. Moving into private, and whoever ends up joining, and that's that. Next week, Friday, yeah. Like, next week's my last week doing this publicly. I'm done. Yeah, everything that you see me doing out here is exactly. I mean, I'll probably just amp it up even more inside of a private group. Like, if you think I did a lot here, like, think about what I do in a private group. No, I will not publish daily logs. Everything's going inside of the private. Everything I do is going right inside the private. Yeah, I know. I see you enjoying. I don't think you ever will, to be honest with you. I've kind of came to that conclusion. So it is what it is. Yeah, everybody's asking questions on that. I will update it. I will do a whole live stream over it, so don't worry. How long are we streaming here? About two and a half months. It's been a long time, man. Lucas or Luke, I'd love to hear that. Amazing, brother. Yes, private will be paid. No, I'm not. Like, people are saying that. I mean, I'm not posting anything publicly. Like, what? I if I was a student, I paid for somebody's mentorship, and they went off and posted on public for free. I'd be like, what the hell? So I'm not doing that. Again, guys, I just wanted to mention that so people would be aware. It's just, don't worry about all the information. It'll be out there next week. So accidental. I wish I'd see this. Well, I didn't. Wish I didn't mention it. Don't worry about it. Just focus on today. You're good. No, that's not gonna. I'm not gonna leave without people. You're good. No, Wolf, I won't be doing that either. Panicked I know. Oh my god, he's leaving. What do I do? Oh. So yeah, I mean, I already have it. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. It's $200 for 3 months. So every 3 months you get charged $200. And if you think that's a lot, then I don't understand. Like, I mean, most of you pay $200 for a challenge, let alone that. And B, I mean, you're learning information that can make you money infinitely. So, I mean, that's me being generous. I could charge $500 for 3 months, to be honest with you. I mean, if you've seen the value in here and you're still learning and you don't want to pay that, I honestly don't know why. I would cut off my arm to pay for something like this. And that's not me bragging. I mean, if I saw this and even if I was dead broke and I saw everything that this person was teaching, I mean, shit, I'll put it on a credit card, whatever, I'll pay it back. I'd sell something. I don't care. Like, again, that's just, there's people who are rich in their mind but poor in their pocket, and there's people who are poor in their mindset and rich in the pocket. So you have to be willing to invest into something. And it's not me trying to promote my own stuff, but like, if you see the value in here and you're not willing to invest into it, I don't understand why. Like, it's just weird. I paid ICT. I paid ICT $155 a month, and I didn't have shit. I didn't have any money, but I understand the value. I understood that this could set me free. Like, I was willing to pay anything. Again, I'm making it very generously cheap for people because, I mean, I still make a good amount of money off of it, but that's only if a certain amount of people join. So it depends. Like if I only made a couple grand off of it, I would probably do it for that 3 months and I'd be done. It has to be worth my time to do it. Rito, another guy making money with courses. Yeah, well, how about you sit here for the last 2 months and you tell me you do this for 2 months and you don't want to charge for it. I worked my ass off for 6 years to be able to teach like this and be able to trade like this. ICT also, that's such a hypocritical post. And it's not me getting mad because I needed to defend it for the chat. ICT charged for 3 years, 4 years inside of a private mentorship, and then he went free. So, like, people are just so out of their mind, man. As far as price, we printed a inefficiency here. So, and here, if you was actually watching price and I was trying to determine what we were trying to do, well, yeah, there's SMT at the top here. We've taken out all-time highs. Dollar index is starting to pop up a little bit higher. So it would make me weary to try to push longs, especially at an all-time high. SMT between the yields. I'll pop over to yields later and see what's going on with that. So this is where, to me, it's a 50-50 decision, right? I could see evidence, is what I talk about with all of you, is when you're trying to be the detective, right? You're investigating evidence. You're investigating both sides and you're trying to make an argument. Like in here earlier when I was annotating the run into the buy side. If I had to look at the bearish argument, the bearish case, if I was sitting in a courtroom and somebody said, "All right, this is the bearish, evidence here," there wouldn't be a lot of evidence for me to, see that as a valid argument. But if I look at, like this instance, if I was to look at, all right, somebody is in a courtroom, they said, all right, this is the bullish evidence, this is the bearish. As far as bullish, the weekly, daily, 4-hour, everything is bullish on that order flow, right? We've expanded higher. We're dropping down into a discount with this 15-minute inefficiency here. But what's on the bearish side? We've taken out buy side liquidity here. We're at all-time highs. We have dollar index starting to pop up a little bit higher. It looks like TJF on dollar index. So if dollar index starts to rise, this might want to drop lower. We have SMT at the highs with, if you look at YM made a lower high while ES and NQ, well, particularly NQ made a higher high and ES made a lower high as well. So there's some evidence for it. You have to have, when you're taking a trade idea for the most part, overwhelming evidence for one side. Otherwise, there's no point. You're just kind of gambling. It's a 50-50 shot, and you're just kind of, in there saying, all right, well, I'm just going to take a trade and see what happens. That's not smart trading. That's not going to get you very far. No, Wolf. I'm going to be done basically publicly. Like, the only thing I would post is my executions and the things that were happening inside of the private group. I'm giving my full attention to everybody that paid money, inside of the group. I've done my work publicly. I've given, again, back to that comment of free. I've given more than enough, man. More than enough. If you can't see that, then I'm sorry. Austin, I mean, each month is different for me. It depends on what the profile for the month is giving me. Overall, if I was to give you a good goal, I would shoot for 3 to 4% a month. Like, you can range from, I would say 3 to 5% is a good target to shoot for. Shit, I mean, if you can't even do 2% yet, do 2% consistently for a couple months. Get consistent with that. And if that means you have to shoot for 0.5% every week, then do that. If that means only, doing 1%, 1 week, 1% another, and then you're done for the month, I mean, do that. I mean, I've talked about this before. It's never really the issue with how much percentage you can make. It's always the issue with the capital. And there's more than enough avenues and ways to get enough capital right now. 2% a month on $1 million is 20 grand. And you take a little profit split off of that. I mean, who's complaining with 20 grand a month and all you have to do is make 2%? I mean, you're doing next to nothing. And you're outpacing everybody. But then you say that to somebody and they want to do 60, 100 grand a month. It's like, you have to start with baby steps. You have to start with that. Daniel, yeah, I've thought of that. Yeah, even Robbie, even on 100K, even 2 to 3%. I mean, you're making 2 to 3 grand a month. Again, that's more than most people work for 40 hours in a month or in a week, and you're working 160 hours a month. On a 100K count, that's 2 to 3 grand a month. I mean, even doing 1% on a 100K count, that's $1,000 a month extra. Everybody can use that. Everybody can use it. I don't care who you are, where you live, the U.S., China. $1,000 more inside of your bank account every month for doing 1% in trading. I mean, people, they want to do these huge feats and these huge things. It's like, you don't need to do that. You just need to dumb it down to where you're doing next to nothing. You're not doing a whole lot to make a lot. It's always the way I've taught. No, I don't accidental. But you still have to operate within that mindset, right? You still have to operate within the mindset of, if I was to have $1 million account, that's the way I'd be doing it. Well, Dean, just go back to, it's not like you can go back to all of the old live streams. They're all there. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not, again, I could do 3 more months of this and then I could get the same comment just like you. So it is what it is. Again, if you see the value in it and you're not willing to pay for it, I don't understand. So what did we talk about earlier as far as, I mean, overall NFP is low probability. B, if you see two sides of the argument, trying to push for one or trying to gamble, like let's say on the long setup, just trying to gamble on that idea is stupid. You need to have clear evidence towards one side. And it's the reason why I talk about the 25%, model that I teach is, or at least you could call it 75% complete into drawn liquidity, because there's overwhelming evidence at that point in time. When you're 75% complete to a drawn liquidity, you have overwhelming evidence that it's probably going to draw to that liquidity pool. But when you're in the middle of it, there's two sides of the argument. You see clear evidence 50-50 for both, and then you just try to push in there and you try to make a decision. That's where you're going to get stopped out. You're going to take losses. It's good advice, CJ, but you need to consider that we are inexperienced in ICT, so we want to trade every day for that experience to be gleaned. That's the opposite way of thinking. You don't need to do that. Like, you don't need to trade every single day to gain experience. You can gain experience by simply watching price. You don't need to trade every day to get that. If you're somebody who is stubborn, who's hard-headed, like me, then yeah, you're going to have to go in the market and you're going to have your ass handed to you. But I'm telling you from experience, I'm trying to lend you my experience. You don't need to do that. I don't want any of you to take the same amount of losses, blown accounts, the miserable times I've had, when I could just tell you not to do it. You can learn from experience, or you can learn from somebody who has experience and just do what they say. Like, I'm not just saying this shit for no reason. We drop down into this inefficiency here, or this breaker. So that's a reclaim breaker from what? This dealing range low. up to that high. Look at the chat. So what's the arguments, right? Like somebody could see this as a short, but then on the counter flip side, somebody could see this as a long, right? You have the breaker in here inside of a discount. You have the 15-minute inefficiency here. You have the 5-minute inefficiencies there. Overall, the narrative is bullish, but I do see the counter argument where we've taken out buy side. S&P, we're at all-time highs going into Friday. TGIF could play out. So do you see how when you have arguments like this, what's the best case scenario? The best case scenario for me would be this. I'll make it simple. This is the 75% complete into a drawn liquidity model. You have buy side here. If price moved all the way up into even above this inefficiency, it's 75% complete to the drawn liquidity. All I need is a small low-hanging fruit to grab the drawn liquidity there. Even here, we could wait for a drop lower, even into this new week opening gap underneath the bullish breaker. Because if you break the bullish breaker, that's technically telling you that that's the last point of interest. There's no other bullish PD arrays in here. So if it breaks that, you're pretty clear shot into the sell side. So that's overwhelming evidence towards one side. But in here, it's like, well, I could pick a short, I could pick a long. It's 50-50 to me. So waiting for that is the best option. From here, this is basically 75% of the range here. You're just looking to take a trade inside of that little portion there. That's all you're trying to do. Vice versa for the buy side. I've demonstrated that before. It's a very consistently good model. Wolf, love to hear that. Exactly. A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from others. Exactly. Very good. And again, even look at the chat. I favor upside. I favor downside. This is where you let gamblers, you let people just kind of pick their shots in here. And I'm standing on the sidelines just waving goodbye to everybody's stop losses. And then once I see that, then I just go into the market and I pick my shot. I'm sure some people are trying to long this in here. I mean, if you get a short in here, that's fantastic. To me, to my personal model, it's a little premature. If the narrative, this is where also you could, I'm going to put a little extra cherry on top. If the narrative was overall bearish and I couldn't really find an argument for upside, then I could pick a shot in here. So there's a lot of different criteria and characteristics to that. The last 25% is super interesting, more than making up. Exactly. It's a very nimble, easy mindset. Okay, yeah, most definitely. I'll refund the money and I'll kick them right out of that group. I don't, again, if somebody is disrespecting others inside that group, I'm gonna have terms and conditions. Like it's not gonna be like in here. Nor is the chat gonna be like this. I'm not even gonna be really. I mean, I'll answer questions, of course, but anything negative, anything trolls, I'm just immediately you're booted, refund your money, and on your way. I'm not gonna be doing any of this, putting up with people's bullshit. To be honest with you. And I'll probably be a lot more harsh, so be ready for that too. But you should be thankful that I'm harsh and telling you the things you need to hear, not what you want to hear. That's the type of mentor I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. I'm not going to baby you. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Yeah, okay, I may not even do that either. Kumar, just wait till next week. I'll announce it. There's nothing out right now. Just no punches. Rodrigo next week, man. Well, I'll go trading. I mean, again, for the people who've been in here, and like, I'm just gonna list the names. Just because they're top of my head. Nico, Oki, Conway, Tom, algo trading, like these type of people. I mean, the only way I could see you not paying for it is if you found success and you're like, you know what, I've had enough. I'm at a point where I don't need you anymore. But if you, for the ones who are consistent in here and you see the value in it and then you don't pay for it, that questions my head. That's just like, I see you as real students. You really care. You actually really want to learn, but that low amount of money would keep you from buying it. That confuses me. And I'm not trying to hate on it. I don't know your financial situation in life, obviously, but I mean, I'm just trying to understand it, that's all. And when you pay for things, you take it a lot more seriously. You appreciate it more. That's another reason why I do it too, because people don't appreciate something until they pay for it, unfortunately. If they see it free, they think it's not worth something. Mantis, you haven't been so quiet recently. That's alright, brother. Oh, again, all the details will be released next week. I wanted to make the announcement so I don't blindside everybody in here and then everybody's freaking out. Like, I wanted to make the announcement so at least you guys are aware of it. I know I've been saying I'm gonna do it, but I actually have a date on it now. I'm kind of reaching the point where I'm tired. I'm gassed out from all this stuff. So yeah, I know. Harris, yeah, I know. Well, Reno, you can either pay a 3-month, you could pay a monthly. I'll have different options, different things for people. So do you see in here how we were talking about the 50-50 argument? People could have been shorting off of this, then somebody could have longed off of it. So when you're inside of basically a dealing range like this, where you're basically smack dab at equilibrium, you're sitting at EQ of it, and you can see the argument for both sides. You can see that just means to not do anything. Like, this is the emotion that most people feel, is like, I have to do something, man. I see the SIBI, maybe I'll short. Oh, it stopped me out, now I go long. It could just go range bound and stop you out both ways. Like, it's not just going to always go one way or the other. It may stay range bound. So that's why I teach about the 25 or 75% model, because by then, again, the model is almost complete. You didn't have to be inside of this mess. I'm sure some people are trying to short it, some people are trying to long it. It's just not a viable, good option for me. Wavelength, yeah, I know. I mean, that's why I want to go private, but I know there's a lot of people out here with good questions and things that they need to be answered. So in the actual private group, I probably won't be on the chat too much. I mean, sloth, again, if you, nobody, you can't criticize that because you haven't been in my shoes. Like, imagine teaching like this for 2.5 months for free. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, years, teaching wise. I mean, it's exhausting, man. Like, not getting paid for this sucks. And people are willing to pay for it. It's a simple business. How to get dumb money? Do some live. Okay, awesome, Castro. How about you sit here for 2 months and you do this live profitably and you show a track record? You call out trades, you fund people's funded accounts, and then you ask, you know, if you want to keep doing this for free. I mean, Dean, that's why I did 2.5 months of live streaming, so you could get exactly whether I was lying, whether I was fake, a phony. It's the reason why I call out people that lie and deceive others, because nobody else live streams. Nobody else does this. So 2.5 months, you can go back and watch all my live streams, see all the trades I've taken, go to my Twitter, I'll show my track record. You can see the track record and see the consistency between it. And if you feel like that is something you want to pay for, then obviously I've given you enough to make that decision. See, why is that unfortunate, Sloth? Why would that be? Look at the wording you just used. Unfortunately, people will pay for it. Have you taken any trades this week? Yes, Wednesday. Go back to my live stream. We're nearing the end of Silver Bullet. I'm getting sick and tired of the chat. I'm just going to do this giveaway so I can end off the week. Oh, there you are, Justin. All right. I'm going to start the giveaway here shortly, so give me a second. Again, if you want to participate inside of this giveaway, you have to be registered with MyFundedFutures. So I'm going to give you all 2 minutes. If you're not already, and I know a lot of you are not going to register until I probably do the giveaway, but register right now. Because if you end up winning and you say to me, I have to register, I'm just going to irritate me. So please register real quick. It takes 2 seconds with MyFundedFutures. No, I know, Crazy Eddie. Again, I know there's a vast majority of you. So, in order to be eligible for the giveaway, you have to be registered with MyFundedFutures, which my Nightbot just posted a link if you don't know the website. You have to be following me on Twitter, and you have to be following me on YouTube. I will ask for all 3 of those. So if you win and you're not gonna get the accounts. All right, goodbye, Castro. You're not winning anything. If he's not already, Tal, ban that dude for infinity amount of time. You've irritated me enough today. Let me just play some music. I'm going to take the charts away. Let me know if that's too much. I don't think it is. Let me find this real quick. All right, so this is how it's going to work. We have 4 accounts today. We're going to start with the starter accounts. So the first one's going to be a 50K starter account. The next one's going to be the 100K starter account. The third one's going to be the 150K starter account. Last but not least, that's going to be the expert 50K account. So just make sure you know what the difference is between all those. If you do win one of them, obviously you know what the difference is between all of them. So again, you have to be registered with MyFundedFutures. You have to be following me on Twitter. You have to be following me on YouTube. You have to have all 3 of those. So let's see. I'm gonna do a different word for each one. If you haven't been here, we do a different word for each account, and I'm just gonna roll the dice. There's nothing else that, you know, obviously is there. Let me make sure that everything is in here. That automatically, yes, automatically mark users that post the keyword more than one time. Yep. It's not enter me, so don't post that, please. We've had this before. Don't. That's not the word. I'm gonna pick the word in a second here. So let me just figure out what word I want to do. I'll let you all post the word, and then I'll roll the dice. Another. Make sure I do that. Another point to all of this is you can't have the word more than once. If you post it more than once, then you're disqualified. So please do not post it more than once. I don't know why this is an issue, but it is. Yes. So once I tell you what the word is, you're going to type the word in the chat one time. You do not enter it more than once. You enter in the word one time into the chat. I will roll the dice, and then we'll see who ends up winning, and then I'll go from there. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? And the word that I'm going to use is going to be all lowercase. So make sure that you don't have any capitals in it. Make sure you're spelling it the exact same way I'm going to spell it, okay? So I'm going to do it in 2 seconds. Ready? The word is perfect. All lowercase, perfect. And I'm going to end it in about 30 seconds or so. So I have a timer on. I'm going to give it 30 seconds. I'll let you know when we're about 5 seconds left. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to roll the dice. Michelle, if you're in the chat, let me know. It should pop up here. If you don't answer in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to roll it again. So that is the 50K starter count. We still have 3 counts left, so don't worry. Okay, you're here. Great, fantastic. What I would like you to do, how do I want to do this time? If you have Twitter, no, it's going to be too much. Just put your email in the chat that you registered the account with. If somebody emails you, then I mean, who really cares? Because your email is registered to your account, so nobody else is going to be able to steal that from you. Once you put it in the chat, I'll give it to the moderators, and I'll send it over. And we still have 3 accounts, so. The @'s not allowed in the chat. Interesting. Just message me on Twitter, Michelle. Anybody that ends up winning, if you win, you're gonna have to message me on Twitter. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna comment underneath my most recent post that you won, and I'll make sure and verify that you're the real person. So Bishop, if you have Twitter, go to my Twitter and just comment underneath it, and I'll follow you back. Does that make sense? Just put a thumbs up or a 1 and then I'll go on to the next giveaway. So that's future for everybody else that wins. Go over to my Twitter if you win, and make sure that you're following me. Just post underneath the most recent post that you won, and I'll verify it's you. All right, so this is going to be the 100K starter account. What's the next word I should use? All right, this is the 100K count. The word is going to be rabbit. I'm going to give you all 1 minute. And guess what? For the regulars, I'm gonna boost you up 5 times actually. For the ones who've been here, who've been regulars. I don't know why people are posting at words of wisdom rabbit. The only word is rabbit. We got 20 seconds left here. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I see piano. You in the chat? I see piano. Again, you cannot post the word multiple times. Guts, I've seen you post it like 5 times now. You can't post it more than once. I see piano. All right, so go ahead and message me on Twitter underneath my most recent post. You have to take a screenshot of your YouTube page. That way I know it's you. And just, I'll give you a follow back and I'll tell you what to do from there. I'll contact you on Twitter. Fantastic. All right. Next one, 150K starter account on the starter account for MyFundedFutures. So, again, for all of those who do not know, you can't pick the word. You can't post it multiple times. You're going to be disqualified from it. No, that the regulars is just 5 times more likely. I'm going to bump it down now, but for the people who are always in here, it's a little bit more chance for y'all to win. What's the next word I'm going to pick? All right, next word, all lowercase. Cannot enter it multiple times. Cookie. All right, I'm going to give it 20 more seconds or so. Bishaw, I think I got you on Twitter. So I'm going to send you a message. I just saw you followed me. Uh, 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Andrew P, congratulations. That is the 150K starter account. You can send a message. I will see it. Are you in here, Andrew? Andrew, I see your message. All right, so message me on Twitter, comment on my most recent post. I'll see your name as long as it's the same as your username here. I'll ask for verification of your profile in the email, so make sure you do that. All right, last but not least, this is the 50K expert account giveaway. Last but not least, so let's see who ends up winning this one. Let me figure out a word for it, so please give me a second. What should the word be? Oh, perfect. Am I spelling that wrong? Banana. B-A-N-A-N-A. Banana. All lowercase. This is the last account. All right, 15 more seconds here. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. XENANG, are you in the chat here? Yes, amazing, amazing, amazing. Congratulations. If you can send me a message on Twitter. Andrew, I got you on Twitter as well. I forget the second name of the winner. If you can, I'll have to go back. What was the name of that one? Just send me a verification of your YouTube channel. That way I know it's you. It's not somebody else faking you. And then your email. So, Andrew, I'm going to send you a message right now. Congratulations, all the winners. I hope you guys are able to utilize this and actually do something with it. I believe in all of you if you actually do. I'm sorry for the people who... Wolf, I know there's some people in here who really wanted to win, but again, you have to understand that the probabilities in here is not very high, like, on every giveaway. I mean, I try to boost it up for the regular people who have been here, so... What happened, Jack? Fake accounts and fake giveaway. Business contact, what's your deal, brother? Awesome, Michelle. I see you messaged me on Twitter. Just send me your email now. Andrew, same thing. Send me your email, YouTube screenshot. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a giveaway. I don't know how this could be fake accounts. Simply roll the dice, man. Congratulations, all the winners. Make sure I'm gonna stay on here until I can see everybody at least that one. That way we can get that. If you look at NQ, I mean, we drifted off lower significantly in here, so that's interesting to watch. I gotta let the chat catch up real quick. Yeah, there's less viewers than there even normally is, so I don't know. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it, man. I mean, I just want to make sure that all the people who did win are have messaged me on Twitter, and that way I can get it. Andrew, I appreciate that. I saw your message on Twitter. I got your email. Amazing. Michelle, if you could send me your email, And then I got 2 other people I need to get figured out here. So the other 2 winners, if you can message underneath the most recent post, that way we can get it figured out and squared away. I'll send it all over to the team. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week. I hope you enjoyed all the live streams. I hope you enjoyed all the daily logs and the information that's given to you. I mean, for the people that don't see the value, I'm sorry. It is what it is. I mean, but for the real ones that are in here, they see the value. They see the things that I'm giving you. I mean, I appreciate all of you. I wish a lot of success and prosperity upon all of you who do actually take this serious and learn from me, because the information I'm giving is very, very good, at least in my opinion. I think that's really going to be it for this week, guys. I'm going to take a break for the remainder of the next 2 days. I hope you all have a good weekend. I'll be back next week for the last week of live streaming on YouTube for free. And then I'm going private, and that's it. So, till then, good luck and good trading, everybody. Have a good weekend. Peace.